Have a seat, little one, and let me tell you a story.
About a famous hero?
Of course!
Who bravely battled wicked vampires and ferocious owlbears?
Why not?
And that hero's name was Napoleon Diaz.
Who's telling this story anyway?
Hey buddy, you gotta give your audience what they want if you ever want them to like and subscribe.
Now you're just talking gibberish.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This episode of Dungeon Master Tips will also offer some advice to players, and it will be applicable to nearly any tabletop role-playing game, not just Dungeons & Dragons. Something that unites almost every game in this hobby is the theme of a shared story between the players and Game Master. This is on full display during game sessions as the Game Master describes the world while the player characters explore and redefine it through their heroic actions. But collaborative storytelling can happen much sooner than your first adventure, and that can give everyone at your table a greater level of investment in the game. Building a fantasy world can be a rewarding experience for game masters of any genre. Pouring out your creativity and imagination to create something unique and breathtaking is a proud and worthwhile endeavor for game masters. But many times we forget that the world we're creating is not just our own. Our players help to define this fictional realm, and the sooner we involve them, the more vibrant it will become. Having player buy-in at the start of a campaign goes a long way toward making it a long-running game. Perhaps the best way to do this is to offer several basic campaign ideas to your players, along with a few important aspects of each, such as the tone of the campaign, how much it will focus on combat, exploration, and social intrigue, as well as how lethal it will be to their characters. Defining these and other aspects ahead of time and giving your players choices allows them an opportunity to settle on a campaign that you can all enjoy. But it doesn't stop there. Even before the first session, you can share elements of your world with the players and get feedback to incorporate their own ideas into the setting. Use your players' backstories to expand the world in ways you may not have considered initially. Adding people, places, and events to the campaign that were created by other members of your gaming group will add a sense of recognition for them that pre-written worlds simply cannot achieve. One of the last steps for character creation listed in the player's handbook is working together as a group. But as I mentioned before, for Game Masters, this step can be performed much sooner in order to embed your character deeper into the lore of the world. Ask your Game Master where each of the races of the world come from and what defines them beyond the traits listed in the official books. Discover their history, traditions, and what makes each one unique. You can even help define these characteristics if nothing has been set in stone just yet. Just as your Dungeon Master builds the world around your characters, so too can you build your character around the world. This back-and-forth world generation creates a vibrant tapestry of lore that makes everyone involved feel like part of the finished product. One final piece of the world-building puzzle is defining relationships between player characters. Teacher and student, mentor and apprentice, brother and sister, or other familiar relation, rivals, friends, fellow soldiers, saving one another from a monster attack, and countless other opportunities exist for creating a bond between two characters. Building these relationships strengthens the bond in your shared fantasy world and provides the incentive to adventure out together and face whatever challenges it may hold. Here's a challenge for anyone watching this video, whether you're a game master or a player. Choose a class, race, and background from the D&D 5th edition Player's Handbook and then adapt them to a simple fantasy world. Post your answer to these 3 prompts in the comments below, and let's see what sort of world we can build as a group. Here are the prompts. I'll give a description of 5 locations from this sample world afterwards for you to build on. First, add a location or organization to your backstory from this fantasy world and how it relates to your character. Next, add something to the fantasy world, such as a person, place, or event from your backstory. And finally, work with a friend who is also participating in this project to create a relationship between your characters. These are the fantasy locations you can incorporate into your backstory. Each of them lists classes, races, and backgrounds, but don't feel you have to match them to your character perfectly. A fighter could certainly grow up in a scholarly city, while a noble may have gotten lost during her travels and joined a tribe in the wilderness. The choice is yours. Adderdom is a prosperous port city by the Great Sea. This metropolis boasts several colleges of magic, teaching both bards and wizards. The city is the largest human settlement on the continent, and many well-traveled sailors hail from this port. Stormfont is a secluded forest city home to dozens of shrines and temples that train and house many of the region's clerics and paladins, along with a small cloister of monks. It is led by a council of elves that oversees the religious teachings of the city's budding young acolytes and scholarly sages. Eagle's Nest is a fortified mountain town protected by its own guild of fighters. Numerous dwarves and gnomes ply their trade within these high walls as guild artisans, while guarded by the town's many soldiers. Flame Pit is a decadent town well past its prime. Shadowy rogues and secretive warlocks roam these alleyways next to reclusive dragonborn and tieflings. The town is overrun with charlatans and criminals, while the poorest individuals live as urchins on the streets. Seven Clans is a loose association of nomadic tribes that travels the open prairie. From these peoples come dozens of barbarians, druids, and rangers. They are a mixture of those who have rejected civilized society and include more than a few half-elves and half-orcs. Most everyone in the prairie survives as outlanders or lone hermits. World building for game masters and character creation for players can go hand in hand. The more involvement you have with one another early on, the better your overall gaming experience can be. And even if your game has already started, it's never too late to ask your players for more information about their characters to expand your world, or to delve into the lore of the setting your game master has created to add to your backstory. Collaborative storytelling isn't just for in-game play, but also for developing a world that will welcome each and every person at your table to a grand adventuring experience. The foundation you build together today will hold the stories of tomorrow, and perhaps even years to come. That does it for this episode. I hope you'll participate in this video's challenge to improve your collaborative storytelling skills and continue to do so at your own gaming table. Until next time, I'm David Watches.
And I'm Nepal Mandiath.
And they all lived happily ever after.
Close enough.
And thanks for watching. Special thanks to my longtime friend Bill Batchelor for creating the logo for this channel, and to Dylan Smith for the character art used in this and other videos. I couldn't have done it without them. I'd also like to thank my player Angel for voicing the storyteller in this video. To learn more about Angel's character Nakoa in our ongoing Broken Chain campaign, check the playlist in the description below.
For more gaming tips, check out these hot videos.